So today we're creating a Chinese symbol called the Yin Yang, which you're probably familiar with. It is a symbol of how seemingly opposite forces can actually complement each other and thus lift each other up. It also can mean like a starting point for change. It has the two halves kind of following each other, seeking each other out to create balance. Balance is one of our principles of art. You're also learning about analogous color on this side. So analogous colors are just colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. So here I chose cool colors. You can choose a warm color scheme if you prefer. And let's go ahead and get started so this video isn't too long and you can start creating. We're actually going to use our traceable shapes. These are exactly 6 inches wide. You could also use a paper plate and cut it if you want it to be a little bit larger than this size. I find that this size works really well, but with our 9x12 paper that you'll have today, because the plate kind of goes off the edge. But I think if you cut off the rim of the plate, you could make yours a little bit larger if you prefer. So let's get started here. Got my circle. You'll need a pencil, an eraser, a paintbrush, and I recommend a smaller, rounder brush for this activity versus like the one that we usually use with the flat edge. And then you'll need 2 pens or Sharpies. I recommend 1 regular size Sharpie and then 1 fine point Sharpie or just a good ink pen. So we're going to start with the pencil and trace the large outer ring of this traceable shape. And then this is where the ruler comes in. So it's 6 inches wide, so I'm going to put a little dot at the 3-inch mark. And then I'm going to draw a really, really light line with my pencil because we're going to erase these. We don't want to see any pencil lines when we're done. And then you're going to do that swirly shape. Now, if you're not super confident in just freehanding that, you can use this to kind of help guide you to make it a little more precise, or you can just freehand that yin yang shape. I would encourage you to use the traceable shape again when doing the circles on either side. So we want to kind of go in this semicircle here and put our circle for the yin yang symbol. Now you don't have to make it this big. I actually think I used this smaller one when I made this one, but I'm going to do this one bigger. And then I need to go back and just erase that center line. We don't need that. That's what we call a construction line. Okay. Now what you'll do is trace with a marker. Just trace all those pencil lines. If it's not exactly on the pencil line, remember you can go back and erase it. Just do the best you can. I went a little off there, that's alright, not worried about it. So I'm going to go back and just erase some of these pencil lines. Alright, now here's where you're going to add your Zentangle. So what I do first is I separate the side that I'm going to do the Zentangles on into little sections. I just do that by drawing some curved lines. You can make these lines straight. You can do as many or as few little sections as you want. And then I just start filling in everything except that circle. So I'll do just some straight lines, and I'm kind of curving. I'm going with the form a little bit, and then I want this one to be different, so I'm going to do just some really straight diagonal lines. And then once you have all your simple sections filled with a different kind of line, I'm going to do a zigzag in this one, kind of a chevron pattern. You could do circles as well. Some half circles, whole circles, different sizes. Still using that thicker Sharpie. And I'm just going to do like a brick pattern in this one. Alright, and then we want to do some designs inside this smaller circle here. I'm going to do something like this, because I didn't get to do that on the last one. And maybe just some straight lines in the middle. So as you can see, I didn't plan anything out. I just kind of went freehand and filled all that in. Now you're going to take some time and go in with your pen and really give it some detail. So I'm going to start up here and just do some every other space with some diagonal lines. For the circles, I might put some wavy lines inside each one, just to make them a little more interesting. I think this video might end up being 15 minutes, but I think you get the idea of what to do. You'll want to build up your Zen'tangles a lot more than what I've done here, so it's, you know, complete. So this one I made what looks like little ovals inside some stripes, almost like an eye, and then I've got a zigzag line and stripes. I've got dots in some spaces that are colored in, some wavy lines, and then here just a little more complicated design with some dashes, straight lines. So you want to take your time, do a really nice job on this part. I'm going to go ahead and get on with the painting. So you want to pick analogous colors. Those are just colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. So that could be blue, green, purple, think cool colors, or it could be warm colors. Since I did cool colors on the other example, I'm going to do some warm colors on this one. And I'm just going to start with some orange. So I started with a wet brush, and the most important thing with watercolor is that it's meant to be transparent, not opaque. Opaque means that you can't see through it. Transparent means that you can see through it. So you want to just use your water to move that paint around the paper. Watercolor is supposed to kind of like ebb and flow. It's not supposed to have real harsh lines or anything like that. So you want to kind of let the water do its thing, let it kind of flow, and just watch the amount of water on your brush. You should have like a rag or paper towel with you at your table. And you want to go around the shape. And now I'm going to pick like a red. I'm actually going to go darker. And just, instead of forcing it to blend right there, I can add some more water to my brush. And that water will do the work of blending it if I just dab it a little bit. So I'm going to do that. And just using water here. Get a little more pigment. But mostly when you want to move watercolor around the page, you don't necessarily need more of the paint or the pigment. You actually just need a little more water. That being said, you also don't want like puddles of water because we're using what's called multimedia paper. It's not actual watercolor paper. So just be careful not to get like big giant puddles of water on the page. And then I'm going to do some warm colors also in this section here. And I didn't have any yellow that I used. I could have added a little more interest by using more warm colors. Orange and red are not the only warm colors. Could have added a little bit of yellow in the center to give it a little more depth. So I've got orange on the outside here. I'm going in with a little bit of the red here. Careful not to let that bleed into your Zentangle design. And I'm going to see if I can put a little bit of yellow in the center there. My yellow's gotten kind of mixed up here, so we'll see how it turns out. There we go. Yeah, looks good. Okay, and if you feel like there's a little puddle there, you could dab that with like a paper towel or rag that you have. And that's about it. One thing I did for this was I just went around it again with a Sharpie to make a thicker line around the outside. And then I cut it out on the outside edge of that line. And then we just glued it to a background piece of construction paper. Choosing construction paper that pulls from those colors that you used here will help it pop out nicely for display. All right, thanks guys. Enjoy.